All right, guys, so we're in January 2023. Happy New Year's to you and yours. Hope you guys had some good, relaxing fun over the last few weeks. I definitely tried to do that here at home. And what we're going to review today is the Toronto Real Estate Board stats like we always do. We're going to take a look at December 2022 and how we compare to the previous month, November, and also how it compared to last year as well on our year-over-year numbers. I'm also going to give you some information on some of the real estate topics that are going on here in the GTA right now, some insights as well for buyers and sellers. Danilo here, and I've been selling real estate here in the GTA for the last 8 years. Now, if you're in the market for some guidance and you need to get more information about what's going on in the GTA marketplace, this is definitely the video for you. And also let us know in the comments below if you have any specific questions. All right, guys, now before we get into the numbers today, we're gonna give you something a little different. I'm actually gonna just give you guys a client story, just something that happened recently with one of our clients to give you an idea what's going on in the marketplace. I think that this might be a little bit insightful, something that actually happened recently, and give you an idea what's going out there with buyers who are putting offers in. So I actually met Abby a few months back in September, and we were looking in the Niagara area for like a brick bungalow, 3-bedroom that had a decent lot and had a potential for a rental, possibly in the basement or just depending on how the house was set up. We did start for a bid. At the time, prices were kind of in the low 600s, high 500s if you wanted to get something decent. And anyways, we had to put a little bit of a pause because Abby had to take off for a few months. And when he came back just before the holidays, we reevaluated the budget, and we saw that we were definitely in a good position to move forward. And we actually went out to take a look at what was out there again in the same sort of areas. We ended up finding a nice brick bungalow and a good lot. It had a separate entrance and a real good potential for a basement apartment. It was a bit of a fixer-upper. However, we ended up getting it just under $500,000, and I would say that that's actually an incredible price. If you could believe it, I mean, in the city of Toronto, you're probably just getting a 1-bedroom condo in an older building under $500,000, and those are even just hard to find at all. So we actually got a complete bungalow with a detached garage and a decent lot, really nice landscaping. It was still a bit of a fixer-upper inside. It was an original condition, but at an under $500,000 price point, even if you were to put in a good amount of investment for the renos, I think it's well worth it because of the starting price that you get in. He is looking at for investment. He is going to live there as well. He's going to cut his expense in half because he's going to rent out the basement apartment, and he's going to start at such a low price point that he has such a big upside into the future because this is a long-term purchase. Okay, so just a quick story, guys, of something that happened recently with a client, and maybe that might be helpful if you're kind of on the fence in terms of what you want to do. There are definitely opportunities out there for all people, either if you're a buyer or a seller as well. Okay, now guys, let's get into the actual numbers. I'm gonna actually put up on the screen right now our chart to get us going. All right, guys, so we have our doc graph up here to let us know what's happened over the last couple months. If you've been following along with us, you've been following this trend over the last few months as we've been doing these videos, and we're noticing now that from November to December we have a slight drop in average price. However, I can point out to you here, every transition from November to December in this chart has actually resulted in a decline, and that's just normal, right? It's the holiday month, and obviously people are busy during season, and for this reason there's going to be less activity. You're going to see that our sales is quite down as well from on a month-to-month basis, and so is the price point, but that's kind of expected because of the timing. Okay, the January numbers are going to be a lot more interesting because we usually have an uptick, so we'll see how it goes from December to January. All right, switching it up here to our month-over-month numbers. Let's take a look at our different property types. Detached homes, we've had just over 1,300 sales, and our price point is at 1.384. Semi-detaches here are at 238 sales, and our average price point is $1,009,479. Townhomes, we had 524 sales, and we're at $864,000 average price. Condos, 966 sales, and our price here is at $705,000. So that's our average price points depending on the property type.
And you see here that our month-over-month sales numbers are quite a bit lower than last month. And like I said, that's something that we expected because we're going into a holiday month. And, many people over the holiday season, at least 1 or 2 weeks, are doing not much, to be honest. And so that's why we're seeing that here. Average price point, though, didn't drop as much. However, there was on average here 2.61 decline from November. Again, all of this was expected. So it's going to be a lot more interesting to see what happens in the next month.
By the way, if you're looking to purchase a home or condo here in Toronto or the GTA region, or you're looking to sell a property here in the GTA, please do not hesitate to give us a call. We have a wealth of knowledge and experience, and I know that we'd be able to take care of you. Take a look at the description below. There is a button there to book a call with us. We can find out exactly what your situation is, and we can go from there.
All right, guys, so let's take a look at our year-over-year numbers to give us some context as what's going on as well. We looked at our month-to-month. That one's a little bit skewed because of the holiday season, but this is what happened December versus last year. Last year was obviously, we were heading into such a hot market, so we had 6,000 sales last year. This year we had 50% almost, had 3,000, just over 3,000 sales. So we're gonna see that reflect a little bit more below. Our price point has come down quite a bit as well. We're at $1,051,000, and we're up almost $100,000 more last year. And then it went all the way up to 1.3 million as an average price in 2 months last year in February 2022. So that was very interesting. So let's take a look at the summary here, and you'll see that we're at just under 50% for sales. So yeah, we're obviously sold a lot less activity this year for many factors. It was December, but on top of that, interest rates and a lot of changes in the marketplace has caused the buyer activity to go down quite a bit. New listings are down quite a bit, which is interesting because that dynamic between new listings being down and active listings still being pretty high. It just means that there's not a lot of new inventory coming into the marketplace. They're not flooding the marketplace with inventory right now, and so this is what's keeping our price point semi flat. It has been trending a little bit on the lower side recently, but we're gonna have to see over this next few months how that trend plays out. Right now, you're seeing that our new listings are down just over 20%, and active listings are 170% higher than last year. We're down 9.2% in our average price point on a year-over-year basis, and we are seeing also a doubling of days on the market for properties who are going for sale right now. So it's a lot more common to see properties that are over 1 month on the market. Whereas last year, if it was decent enough, most properties were still selling under a month. I'm seeing and noticing a lot more properties on the market well over a month, even into 2 months, etc., just depending on what it is.
All right, guys, so just a quick update for you guys, something that you should be waiting for, January 25th, which is another Bank of Canada interest rate decision. And at the moment, the consensus is that we're likely going to have a bit of an increase. The reason for this is because unemployment numbers were actually a little bit better than was expected. And unfortunately, although that's good that people are working, it's not, that metric is actually not that good for inflation. And so for that reason, they think the Bank of Canada is going to tighten things up a bit by increasing interest rates, because they're going to have to tackle it from another angle. And we're going to see what happens. It may be just a 25 basis point, but it could be as high as 50. I don't think anyone's expecting anything higher than that, but I guess we're going to have to just see what happens on the 25th. Okay, so a few insights here for our buyers. I want to let you guys know that right now there are some pricing opportunities in the marketplace. In particular, seeing condos being one of the more resilient property type over the last year, fighting against that downward pressure in price. They've actually held out pretty strong, and right now there are some pretty decent opportunities in the mid 500s, even to the low 500s as well, in communities that I would consider actually pretty good. And remember, as a buyer right now, one of the effects of lower price point is the fact that you're actually paying a lot less down payment and closing costs. Those are a percentage price point that you pay. And so although we do have higher interest rate, we are paying a lot less cash money, capital capital, which is usually the hardest thing for them to actually save for. It's one of the biggest barriers for you to actually get into the marketplace. So if you do the math correctly and you anticipate the interest rate that you're getting today, and you know that in the future, likely these interest rates are going to be lower, then you're actually going to be able to get into a property at a pretty good price, manage the payments at the moment, and in the future, you might actually have a much better scenario, and you'll be in a property that you can call your own, which is going to be a vehicle for you in the long term to maybe propel you into a bigger property, which is usually the way it goes here in the GTA. So what a lot of mortgage guys will tell you is that you gotta date the rate, and you gotta marry the house and the price, and that's actually true in the scenario that we're in right now. Long-term buyers actually have really good opportunities out there at the moment. If you're interested in something like that and you want to get the deals that are out there in the marketplace, I want you to comment deals below, and I'll definitely get in touch with you with a list of properties that are on the market and are cheaper. If you're looking for something specific, you let me know in the comments as well, and I'll go ahead and send you that instead. All right, so some insight for sellers. Right now, the rates are on the higher side, and it's likely that that's going to hold for quite a while. At least a few months, probably into the end of this year, before we see any change in that. It could be actually even into 2024. So for this reason, it is possible that we could see a grinding down of prices over this next few months, but it should be at a much slower pace than what we saw in last year for sure. Another thing you got to be looking out for is that the news is going to report year over year changes in price, and they're going to be pretty drastic drops, because last year we had record pricing and this year we've come down so much. You're going to see that come out in the news, and that may not help consumer behavior, because people obviously watch the news. Now, if you were looking to capture a good price for your property, I'm going to say it's probably better sooner rather than later, all depending on your scenario though. So you may want to get in touch with the Calendly link below, and that way at least we can answer some of your questions. So I'm going to give you two scenarios that are actually pretty good at the moment if you are considering a move. If you are moving outside of Toronto, if that's your plan, that could actually work out really well, because Toronto as a whole has been more resilient and their price hasn't come down as much as the cities outside. So if you're going to sell your property in Toronto, you might be able to get a decent price for it, and you'll be able to go to like Hamilton, or you'll be able to go to Niagara region or Barrie, or something a little bit further where the price points have actually dropped a lot more, and you'll be able to buy a discounted property, all things compared. So I think that's actually a pretty good opportunity right now. And we have a couple of clients right now that are actually contemplating something like this. And you can see in the numbers, this is based on some fact, and it's not something that we're making up. Outside of the GTA core, the drops are more significant than inside the city. So definitely a really good opportunity if you're looking to do something like that. Another good game plan right now is if you're moving up from a condo, and it's a similar story here. I've said earlier that condos are a lot more resilient in price in the last few months or a year, and that's been true. So if you sell your condo at a much decent price, you can then move up into a semi-townhouse or possibly even a detached house, which actually has come down more in price compared to the condo property type. And that move is actually pretty good as well. You'll be able to collect the profit that you gained living in this condo for the last few years, and you'll be able to move that over into a larger property if that's something that in the cards for you. Obviously, everyone's in a different situation, and families are growing. Time is ticking, and some people can't just wait for interest rates to change and for pricing to start changing as well. People got to move on with their lives, and that actually, if you're in a situation where you're kind of tight in your condo right now, you're in a 2-bedroom, your kids are getting bigger, hey, I think this could be a good opportunity for you to maybe sell that condo and go into something a little bit bigger. Okay guys, I hope those things were helpful for you, and if you want to actually sign up for a newsletter which contains this particular video, and also it gives you stats from all over the GTA, including Peel region, York region, Durham region, City of Toronto, and the GTA as a whole, giving you insights that you probably should be knowing about the Toronto GTA market, especially if you're in the market to buy or sell. The link is below to sign up for that newsletter. Now, I wanted to thank you guys for joining me on this video. If you have any questions at all, throw it into the comments below and I'll make sure to answer them.
Now, if you like this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. We do this every single month. All right, guys, so it is Danilo from the King Realty Group. I do appreciate you guys hopping on this video with me, and I hope you have a great one. We're going to talk in the next video. Take care.